Never you ignore a household budget in Germany, because that household budget every year that comes out almost around this time at the end of each year in Germany, and also in most European countries, for those of you who don't find yourself in Germany, it determines how your life for the next year is going to look like. So let's get into it. 524 billion is the budget for next year. Who is going to be included in this budget and who is not going to be included in this budget? Where is the money coming from? And who are those who are going to pay it back? So, the Haushaltsausschuss, for those of you who don't know what Haushaltsausschuss is, Germany is considered as a household. Okay, so you and I, we belong to a household. So every year, the head of the household, which is Bund, which is the government, comes out with a budget, a spending budget for each year. So the spending budget for 2026 is already out, which is 524 billion. But where is this money coming from and who is going to pay it back? From the 524 billion, 180 billion is new money in debt. So the government is taking up 180 billion, the second record debt that Germany is going into, to have it as spending budget for a year. So who are those who are going to be benefiting from this budget? When we have to look at the things that have already been named in this budget, we see that the government is allocating 3 billion for the Ukraine war, for security, according to the government. So which is going to go for buying of new drones, trying to equip the airspace, military artilleries. Apart from that, the government also said 1.7 billion is going to go into Pflegeversicherung for long-time care, old people care, barrier-free housing, and stuff like that. Also, the government will be pumping some money in climate-friendly housing. In the past years, the government have been wanting people to renovate their heating systems. Some heating systems should completely go out of the way to make room for climate-friendly heating. So the government is going to allocate some subsidies to people, to landlords, to change their heating system. But the only problem is, how does this affect you and I? It's going to affect renters most especially, because the government is not taking the full coverage cost of these renovations. No. The landlords will always go in the forefront to borrow money and do these renovations. Why they will apply now for subsidies from the government, which the government will pay maybe just some part of it, maybe 10%, 15%, or maximum 30% of it. And once the government does that, the other part of the money that is borrowed from the bank, the landlords are going to turn it in other way around and put it in Betriebskosten aberration, or your card meter, or other costs that come with house. So at the end of the day, it is you, the renters, that are paying back these debts that the landlords have taken up. The new debts that the government is going into, low-income families will suffer most because they don't really have money. Taxpayers are going to suffer most. People that own businesses, VAT taxes are going to increase because of things like this. Sometimes you don't feel it immediately, but like it or not, one way or the other, you are going to feel it, because it's going to come back to you to pay for a long period of time, either directly or indirectly. Okay. Another thing that you have to know is right now, nothing has been budgeted in this money on social services or integration programs. Instead, in most of these fields, there's going to be some cutback. The government is withholding money. They're going to drop a lot of programs. So that is what should be interesting you, especially as an immigrant here. Where is the government pumping in their money? Do they really want to encourage people to integrate into the society? If they're not doing that, your own money has to be coming out from your pocket. Take, for example, you have written the B1 exams you have failed. Job Center might be telling you, we are not going to pay for any repetition of exams. At that point in time, you have to pay for yourself. Why? Because the government is not budgeting with you inclusive. So we are a household, but you can see that the budget is not going to everybody that belongs to that household. So that should always be important to you, to know that each year, what is the government planning for you? You see, when this budget comes out, it tells you how much money you could retain in your pocket in that year and how much money you'll be spending out. Very important for you to note is, most of this money that is incurred in debt is going to be paid back by you and I, by people who are working. It's going to come back to you directly or indirectly. And the people that are going to suffer more are going to be renters, low-income families, people who are owning small businesses, VAT tax, and also normal taxpayers.